In this episode of OG55, I am joined by Mr. Webba Seymour Duck, and in a little bit, Mr. Theme Park Wizard will be joining us today. Today, we're talking all about seasonal offerings, these sort of special events, anniversaries. How viable are they? Why are these theme park companies doing it? We are going to break it down. We're going to talk about it up next on OG55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. I'm joined by Seymour Duck and Mr. Webba, and soon Mr. Theme Park Wizard. Mr. Webba, where can everybody at home find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely, OG. Thank you so much for having me on this video with Mr. Seymour Duck and soon to be Mr. Wizard. You can find me on Threads, Instagram, and Twitter, Mr. Webba at Webslinger760.
There he is, Mr. Seymour Duck. Good to have you on, sir. Where can everybody find you at home?
Hello.
Social media.
Oh, yeah. Glad to be back and nerd out with you guys. And yeah, you can find me on all social media platforms at Mr. Seymour Duck and Blue Sky at mrduck.social.
There he is. All right, let's dive right in. Okay, so holiday events. We got Christmas time. We got, Halloween. We got, even the anniversary. We got the 70th anniversary coming up for Disneyland. These events have been kind of a big deal. Mr. Webba, you approached me, I think, the other day, and you had an idea for this kind of topic. If you want to give us a little more kind of meat and potatoes in regards to what was your idea for this discussion today.
Absolutely, OG. So everybody at home. So I was actually just sitting there, right? Kind of doing my thing. And then my idea popped into my head was, okay, we have all these events. Because I remember seeing this calendar come out. And I know for the past few years, actually, we've had like 8, 9, 10 events or like seasonal offerings and stuff like that across, Disneyland, California Adventure, you got stuff at Knott's Berry Farm. We're gonna talk about Universal in a bit. But I was like, wait a minute, when was really the last time I saw Disneyland in its original state? No seasonal offerings, no special nights, no after dark stuff, no holiday things, just regular Disneyland, right? Like as you see in the picture, it's just a regular castle. There's no flags, no Pixar shit, none of that, right? So I was like, man, it's been a while since I have seen Disneyland in a regular state. Usually you can catch it early January, like after they take down all the Christmas stuff. But then as we were going to look at this calendar, every single month has some type of seasonal offering, holiday special event going on. Now, personally, while that's cool and it's like a different thing every time someone can go, I just want to see regular Disneyland again, at least for a few months, right? I'm kind of tired of always seeing these different seasonal offerings, these different events. Like I just want to see just a regular Disneyland day park. And so the thing I had thought about too was, is this a way for the parks and current theme parks going forward to capitalize on making extra money, especially since we heard with Disneyland that the attendance is going to kind of drop next year. So is this a way to bring in more people and bring in that extra cash flow to keep the park going?
Yes, I think that what these events are all about, at least out here in California especially, we have a very locals kind of fan base, locals market, so to speak. So when you have a locals market, people who go 2 and 3 times a week sometimes with these Magic Keys, right? When you have a very heavily local market, I think these companies are looking for ways, these theme park companies are looking for ways to sort of incentivize these people to keep coming back. Because, look, I mean, if you're a local and you're going all the time, the rides are the rides, basically. You know what I'm saying? So how do you incentivize, during the off season? How do you incentivize during the year without building another attraction? You do stuff like this. So I think out here in California, I think that's a huge part of the whole equation. Now, Seymour Duck, I know you're not as much of a park guy, but based on what we're discussing here with these seasonal offerings, where you can see here, like January, we got Lunar New Year, we got gospel, like for a few days, we got gospel at Disneyland, we got the food and wine in February through April. What do you surmise, Seymour, in regards to what's the financial kind of angle to all of this?
You took the words right out of my mouth. It drives traffic. Right, and encourage repeat visits for these park goers, right? Especially the ones that go weekly or monthly or every few months, right? I know Webba says he wants to see a regular park, but there's people who don't want to see a regular park, and if that's every week, it gets kind of boring for them, and it does increase traffic, right? Visit boosts merchandise sales with a lot of that's being sold.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Mr. Wizard, you are in the house. How you doing, sir?
Fantastico. How are you?
Very, very good, sir. Before you dive into the conversation, where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Theme Park Wizard on Twitter. No, Park Wizard 1 on Twitter. Theme Park Wizard on YouTube, Blue Sky, and Instagram. And by Thursday, I should be a certified travel advisor, so you can book your trips through me.
There he is. Now, I saw in the private chat, Wizard, you have some thoughts. What are your thoughts, brother?
Yes, and maybe, okay, Mr. Webber, how often do you go to Disneyland? I'm just actually curious. I don't know.
So I haven't been since August, but the last 3 years I was going twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month.
Okay, okay. So I say this because you said something about regular park, and that's cool. But I'm a massive fan of all these cool seasonal events because it gets me to go back. I love the Holiday Castle the best, to be honest. But I love these seasonal events because I don't really buy merch or anything, but I just like that it's a different vibe. It gets me to come back. And it gets me excited instead of just the regular castle's cool, but it's just pink and it's just there. But like when they decorate it, it's really cool, and they have all these cool events. Halloween time is soon to start in July, which is kind of crazy, but it starts August. But really, it's getting earlier every year, people. But I just love them, and to counteract that one, Universal has also just released its own event calendar. Their archway is the same as like what regular park most of the time, and honestly it can get, I don't want to use the word boring, but if they decorated their arch or their icon like as much as Disneyland decorated their castle, I think it would be looking cool. In fact, I heard they're gonna start doing that, like not like crazy, but add some like themed elements like they do for Christmas and Halloween Horror Nights. So I particularly like it. I don't think I'm in the minority because these events are pretty popular, but I get your regular park statement. But yeah, I think that's just, I don't use the word boring, but it's just like,
So what I will say that when I say my statement, I'm really excluding like Christmas and Halloween because those have been staples for years. Mm-hmm. But when I look at the calendar from like January to like July, August, and it's filled with every other type of thing. For me, as someone who has gone a lot before, and a lot of times they're the same stuff anyway, and I just want to go to Disneyland, experience Disney as Disneyland. Now, me saying that, I know I'm the minority of that opinion. I know that I'm going to get flagged for that for sure, but I don't care. Like, I just want to go to the park, experience Disneyland as just Disneyland, experience the atmosphere, the theming, the characters, the attractions just as they are. And seeing this whole calendar, every single month of the year is booked with something. And Pixar Fest, we had that this year. That was just an overblown of Pixar stuff that was, in my opinion, not really needed. We have a bunch of Pixar already at DCA. Then you have put more Pixar stuff in Disneyland. It was just too much. And then with Season of the Force and then the After Dark event with the Star Wars night, like it really just makes Galaxy's Edge a useless land. Why do you even have that?
Let me ask you a question, Eva. Let me ask you a question. So for Disneyland, we were making the case that because of the locals, you have to keep it fresh, right? No, Disney World doesn't have that locals market. It's much more of a tourist driven economy over there, right?
Right.
But we still see, maybe not as much as this, but you have a park like Epcot, which is in festival mode pretty much all year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think that's like for you? I mean, is that something that like?
So, yes, I know where you're going with that. I'm glad you brought that up actually, because before the show, I was actually talking to George on the phone about this, and he brought that up. He said Epcot is like a festivities park all year round. I think that's great, because you have 4 parks over there. Here we have 2, and they kind of bleed together a little bit. Not for all events, but they do kind of bleed together. And if we had let's say a third park that was like a dedicated park where it was like a year-round festivities type of park, that'd be dope. And here's the thing, I'm not saying that Disneyland Park shouldn't have any festivities or events.
Just pull back on it a little bit is what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's taken up every single month of the year, and for me, that bothers me a little bit. I just want a regular Disneyland. And if we had a third park that was like an Epcot, that'd be dope. I'd be down for that. Sure, go ahead.
Now I have a semi counterpoint. I feel like California Adventure, it was really kind of a mix of Hollywood Studios and Epcot, right? They're kind of all the California Adventure is like straight up festivals the whole time, right? But some of those things like Celebrate Gospel, they don't really decorate Disneyland Park for that. So I'd argue that's like a regular park mode. They have like performances and stuff, but they don't like deck out the castle, or like Lunar New Year even. They don't really deck. That's kind of a California Adventure thing. Lunar New, they have. I don't even know if they have anything actually at Disneyland. And OG, do you know? I know they have Lunar New Year Festival for California Adventure, but they don't deck out the castle or really do anything at Disneyland either. So I feel like Disneyland is in regular park mode for like a lot of this stuff, and then a lot of it's a California Adventure, except for the main things like Halloween and Christmas. And there's like one performance for Celebrate Gospel in the theater over there, that Mickey's theater, that doesn't get used, but they don't really deck out the Disneyland from what I see.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Wizard. But one of the things I actually love is this, like events like, for example, like Lunar New Year, which I think is really cool because it brings that holiday, that celebration to like the normies, right? Like if you were to ask somebody 20, 25 years ago, Lunar New Year with the red envelopes, right? And the whole thing, like they wouldn't know what that, like 20, 25 years ago, or like in the 90s, no one knew what out here in America, what that was really, you know what I'm saying? They really weren't familiar with that culture. Now it's very mainstream, you know what I'm saying? And it's, I think in large part due to things like what they do at Disney with their Lunar New Year celebrations and whatnot. And I think that's really cool. It's a fun event. It's a fun time of year. It gets people, kind of into something different. It also provides food that you normally wouldn't have at a theme park. You know what I'm saying? So it's not your typical corn dog cheeseburger thing. You get like the bao buns and more cultural stuff. I really like that. Mr. Seymour Duck. Now I know you don't come to the parks very often, but I mean, like if you were to come down to Disneyland Resort and they were having like some of these events, like the Lunar New Year or any of these, I mean, would you be interested in any of this, or as a tourist?
Yeah, especially even Universal, right? With Halloween Horror Nights, I was talking with Slimer in the DMs, talking about how I want to go to Hollywood Horror Nights in Japan, and they have anime and they have video games during that time where you don't usually see, and it makes me want to go there because I'm like, okay, this is an event, and if I'm going to spend my money, I want to get festive for Halloween in Japan, especially Japan, or even in the US, right? For if I go to Disney, everyone had their costumes on, and it's like, and you don't usually see that because they have a rule there. Apparently, you do that a lot. But during Halloween, they were dressed up, and it makes me want to go. It's like going to the mall. You go to the mall, but then when it's Christmas, you go see Santa, and you get that emotional connection with Santa. You get that same
you get that emotional connection with that mall Santa.
When you're a kid.
I love Santa.
Well, actually, I will say this too. My opinion, which I know again I'm in the minority of, also reflects the fact that when there is seasonal stuff anyway, I don't invest myself into it. I don't eat any of the foods. I don't see any of the characters. I don't take part of any of the merchandise stuff or whatever. Like I just do my regular Disney day there. Like I don't take part in any of that stuff. So that could be part of my problem personally, is I don't do any of that stuff. You know what I mean?
That could be, but it's funny. I actually, like I said, I don't really do that either, like the festivals and stuff. I don't think I've ever had. I probably had maybe one thing ever since the Food and Wine Festival started. Probably had just one thing ever, but I still like it. I like it because it's almost like that, like people talk about the rivers of America and all these classic things. How even if you never ride the Mark Twain, but you just know it's there, it adds to the atmosphere. Same thing with the Food and Wine Festival. I'm done, probably never have anything, but I love seeing the arch and the booths and then hearing the performances. I never stop to watch them, but I'm just walking along and just hear some performance happening. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Or like the Lunar New Year thing, they have the Chinese dragon. I never seen the parade, but I saw it like in passing, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. And I just love the big arch. It's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's like this feeling, so it just feels more festive, even though I don't really I don't eat or drink or buy any merch. It just feels like there's a lot of energy in the park or something. It's weird.
That's a great point, Wizard, because I feel a lot of that as well. Like when you go to Disneyland during, say, Christmas time, right? The holidays or whatever. I don't necessarily have to sit on Main Street and watch the parade go by to feel that energy. Like sometimes I'm just walking from the train station to the castle and I happen to catch the parade as I'm walking. But as I'm walking, the music is blasting, the trees lit up, the parade's going by. It adds to that vibe like in a huge, huge way, I love it. I absolutely love it. But I'm a vibes over rides kind of guy. So that, I'm a little biased. What say you, Webba?
No. So I said, like, I exclude the Christmas and Halloween stuff from this because that's always been a staple at the parks, So it's always great. Like I told George that the Christmas time is actually my favorite time at Disneyland because of all the lights. It's so beautiful, right? You got the snow, right? It just looks gorgeous. But all these other things, like Wizard, you brought up, the food and wine. That actually drives me crazy. It's like DA is so packed. I'm trying to get through the walkway, just freaking people everywhere. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. I'm sorry.
It is very crowded. I will admit that. It is shoulder to shoulder people.
Yeah. Now with saying that though, I don't want to take anything away from other people who enjoy it, right? Like that's great. The other theme was that I want to talk about was the aspect of Disney now Universal, right, and even Knott's, right, having these other type of events outside of like Christmas and Halloween to entice more guests to come to the park. So, for example, with like Universal, you can see all these different kind of like fan events that there are fan fest nights, right? Fan fest nights like Back to the Future, Star Trek, right? I was like, dude, that is dope. I want to go to one of those. Like that sounds really cool.
You had me at Back to the Future. I mean, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Anything that gets more Back to the Future in the parks, I'm on board with it. But at first, I read that butterbeer season as butthurt season for some reason. I don't know why.
It's funny.
But that's a cool event. Like, okay, look, I mean, butterbeer is absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite things at Universal. And dare I say it, like I would prefer, I think, a nice butterbeer over a Dole Whip, I think, any day of the week. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of a drink guy though, compared to like a soft serve guy. So I'm a little biased, but butterbeer is phenomenal. But Universal though, and Wizard, you can kind of like, you can kind of elaborate on this more than I could. But I feel lately they've been really stepping up their game with some of these events, like that Nerd Fest and all that stuff. Like they've been really up in their game. And last night you were at or not last night, it was Wednesday night when we were at Kiss of Life, and you texted me. You were at the Universal, what was it, like a holiday party or something?
Yeah, the holiday pass member thing they do, which is cool. And it's the first time Universal's done this calendar thing that Disney did, which is pretty cool. But it's interesting. I feel like it could be a little bit misleading, and I'll tell you why. Something like butterbeer season, it's not really an event. I mean, they had it last year, but it's not really like, unless they amp it up for this next year. But they just have different flavors of butterbeer, but they don't really decorate or anything. So it's like, is it really an event? I don't know, but that's what they're calling it. So that's a butterbeer season. We'll see if they do something extra. But the cool thing about this one is a lot of these are for pass holders, so they don't have, they're after hours, but they're not like extra ticket. You don't have to pay for anything. In the June and December, they have the pass holder takeover events where they have some DJs and then pass holders park for free, and you can pop in and ride all the rides and see all the Grinchmas stuff like I did on Tuesday, which is cool. They have Halloween Horror Nights, 4th of July. Again, is that an event? I mean, it's something they do every year, but I mean, they have DJs, so I guess it is kind of an event. But again, back to Hogwarts, another one isn't an event. They had it this year, and they just sell more themed or like Hogwarts school clothes, but they don't really do anything different in Harry Potter area. Again, love Universal, but I'm just saying, I feel like they're a bit of a stretch with these events. Some of them, the only true events on this calendar are really Fan Fest nights, just obviously something new, which I'll be at, and then this new summer event, which I don't know what that is. No one knew that this was even a thing until this this announcement. Maybe it's Jurassic World, the new movie comes out during that time frame, so maybe it's tied to that, but we'll have to see. But yeah, there's still two cool events though, so I'm very excited, and I'm glad they are trying to bring some people in, especially with the after hour stuff, because they're like, ooh, look at Disney getting that double money. They get the regular park ticket, and they get the after hour ticket. Let's try to get some of that, especially because the Universal closes at like 6 anyway most of the time, which is atrocious, but they do. So like people, do you know how many people want to see? They tell me they want to see Universal at nighttime. Well, look, now you can pay extra and go see it at nighttime. So smart on them for that. I'm curious what this new summer event is, but yeah, a lot of these things like pass holder days, I mean, it's cool. They do cool stuff, but this, I wouldn't call most of these things. There's only like 3 events on this list.
No, okay. Wizard. But the Fan Fest nights, though, I attribute those to being like the Disney After Dark events, because these are specific themes. So what
were you saying? My wife was talking to me, and
that the Fan Fest nights are like the equivalent to like the Disney After Dark, because they're events for specific themes.
Yeah, and that's what they. This is their first time like kind of trying. Oh, that's horrible. Nice trying that, because they see that After Dark money. They're like, wait a second, these things sell out in seconds. So I'm sure when the Fan Fest night tickets go on sale, there's only 3 weekends. So I'm sure those will sell out. Maybe not in seconds, but certainly in maybe hours.
Yeah, right. HHN was amazing. Like Ebba and I had a great time at that event, dude. I told him, I'm like, I'm coming back next year, but we're definitely going to do the Express again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, gotta do.
For sure.
Now, what I want to ask you guys too, Seymour, with the numbers, right? Is do all 3 of you believe this kind of trend of pretty much all year long you have some type of festivity, an event, an After Dark event, whatever the case may be, all pretty much scheduled throughout the year for theme parks going forward to drive the business, to get more people into the park, right? To get more money or whatever it is. Do you think this is a business practice that they're going to start doing going forward, like forever now, pretty much?
Well, of course.
Yeah, I think so. What say you, Seymour? You think this is here to stay?
Well, yeah, it's just going to make them more money. It's simple as that. You'll get that emotional connection with Disney, and then Disney gets your money.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. And they can tailor craft all these events. They can bring back, Universal can bring back IP that they don't really use that much anymore, like Back to the Future, and really sell that nostalgia,
Even sometimes they're not even big events. Even they want to promote like a movie for Deadpool. You see Deadpool coming in and he's doing story time. Those bring in people, and they have a good time. Some people might get upset at Deadpool with his jokes, but it's a good time for a lot of the fans.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think
thinking of.
Go ahead, Wizard.
Oh, I was speaking of, and obviously Disney has a few hotels and a dedicated fan base, so they'll kind of easily can sell these things. But I think it's kind of interesting. You can give your thoughts, but it's been interesting that Universal is really getting to these new events next year, right? Because the hotel starts next year. So think about it: when the hotel's done, the more events that they host, and the more people that can stay at that hotel. And I know many people, like Sean, shout out to Rankin the Mouse, and many people just for Horror Nights, they would love, even if they're locals, because it ends at 2:00, they would love to just walk over and stay at the Hilton, even though they live down the street. They may stay at the Hilton after Horror Nights because they're too tired to go home. So, Universal's probably looking at it like, wait a second, they can stay in our hotel. So I feel like the more these hotels can bring out even more events for specifically Universal Hollywood when it opens in a couple of years.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you were saying, Wizard, too, that Universal closes like at 6 o'clock. Well, you build that hotel, and it's going to be a later park now, I think.
Exactly.
That's going to change the game,
Because people can go in, take a nap, go back in at nighttime. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, except at D23, George and I went back to the hotel to hit up the jacuzzi, and Lucas
never returned.
Yeah. Well, no, we returned, but by the time we got back, Lucas Kim started taking selfies with Bob Iger, like no joke. I was like, how did we miss that? How did we miss, with all our special guests, we missed selfies with Bob Iger?
Oh God,
it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But Mr. Webba, what are your thoughts? I can see you want to chime in.
Oh no, it was going back to the theme, right, about being a local and you go to like these, because if you're a local, right, like your guys' argument was, and I'm not saying I disagree, but if you're local and you go to Disneyland all the time as its base form, it gets stale, right? Then you're bringing these festivities and it kind of keeps that longevity going. Right. But here's kind of my devil's advocate for that, is that even if you go all the time, if you're going all the time, you're going to the same festivities all the time, then by in itself, I would think that would probably get old as well, because you're seeing the same thing three, 4 times a week for 4 or 5 weeks in a month. And then for a couple months, probably. And then then they have the same festivity again the next year and the next year and the next year. So,
well, for
that's just me, That's why I was telling OG Wizard, I haven't been to Disneyland since August, dude. And I have an Inspire Pass. This is the longest time being a pass holder that I have not gone, that I've had in between trips. Because I'm just like, I don't feel the need to go right now.
And for that one, you're right. And I think many people, at least I've seen, that for the offerings, you're right, they should have the events, but just like they get new food and stuff for these food ones. I think for Christmas they should change it up a bit, keep the same stuff, maybe add some more, add maybe change up the parade or do something different, because the Christmas offerings are beautiful, but I do think they should spruce it up, spice it up, maybe some new decorations somewhere, maybe Galaxy's Edge. They should do more for Life Day, right? Decorate that area. Tiana's Bayou Adventure, they should definitely spruce up their events. That definitely do that. I'm just glad that they're not putting them behind a paywall like they do at Disney World with these Christmas parties, because I'd be so sad if the Christmas party or the parade that was free is behind a paywall like at Disney World. I know they're testing that. Good thing clearly it didn't sell out, because I think people would riot, because that's ridiculous. But they should, you're right. Why? But you definitely should spruce it up. Not just add new events, but the ones that happen routinely, like doing New Year stuff. Spruce it up. And don't add food, but add some more decorations and more ride overlays. One thing that Disney World doesn't get a lot, because they don't have a lot of events, is those cool ride overlays that people complain about sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, and to your point, Wizard, right? Where is Jingle Cruise? Why is that not back at Disneyland?
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for Ghost Galaxy. I miss my Space Mountain. Ghost Galaxy. And I don't know what happened to that. I can't. I don't know if it was deemed too scary, but come on, Guardians of the Galaxy as a ride is scarier. So come on, get in there, Ghost Galaxy. That was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Well, so sorry, OG, go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, I was actually gonna pass over to you.
Okay, so with holidays, right? Again, like I said, right, I love Christmas time, and I love and Halloween's great as well. One of my biggest pet peeve, guys, okay, with Disneyland and Walt Disney World is that let's start 3-4 months early for Halloween. What is this? Okay, so we're still in summer. Why are we celebrating fall shit right now?
I take it you won't be going to the August 17th Oogie Boogie Bash party?
No, I'm not.
Well, and here's the thing, Ebba, and this is actually kind of I think this is actually kind of bigger than Disney, and what I mean by that is I think that culturally as a society,
it means your local Target will have Halloween decorations in July.
Exactly, Wizard. You took the words out of my mouth. Brilliantly said. That's exactly it.
Soon these places will have back to school stuff before school even start and like everything's pushing. It'll be all year round. But yeah, really, everything like Halloween just starts in July now. So that's just the world.
It's the world. Exactly.
It just throws off the whole season though. Like we're still in summer. I want to feel like we're in summer, and at least start it like in like mid-September at the earliest, dude. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
they used to. but
like,
now
like mid-September or even Labor Day, you know?
Like, because that first week of Horror Nights, I'm like, all right, you think you'd be dressing like this, but no, I have some shorts on because it's literally like this year is 105 degrees outside or 110 because it started in Labor Day. So yeah, Halloween and then Christmas. See, Christmas is interesting because there's like a limit because Halloween can't end till Halloween, even though everyone's already over it by then. Christmas can't start. The earliest can start is like November 1st, but Halloween can just keep on pushing out because there's like no dedicated holiday in the summertime, which is pretty funny. Which soon, and they could actually extend Christmas further. So soon Christmas will go to July and then they'll just go back to Halloween. It'll be 2. Then holiday will be up the whole year and then everyone will freak out.
There you go.
Freak out. I will freak out, Wizard. If you can't freak out now, I'll freak out then.
The holiday stuff is definitely because you know what it is. It's society and all these like what Wizard was saying. All these retailers you have like stores. You got Target. You got Walmart. All these they know how big the money is for like Christmas and like even like Valentine's Day, things like that. So they want to get in on that holiday money as soon as possible. So
and there's really only one reason Oogie Boogie Bash starts August 17th when Halloween time doesn't even start till August 22nd. That's because somehow, even though there's all these dates that sells out in seconds, and it's gonna start in July one time because people keep buying the ticket and it's gonna keep adding earlier and earlier dates.
Well, go ahead, Seymour.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I was just thinking like Disney must have the data on this, where people just consistently buy, and they're voting with their wallets and saying, you keep buying our stuff, we'll keep giving you those festive events.
Right. No, and that makes sense. And actually, Seymour, I'm glad you actually brought all that up because I wanted to ask you, and of course everybody else too, that all these all these special ticketed events, guys, right? These are pretty high price for like 4 to 5 hours of,
and they keep going up. Oh my god!
Keep going up. So Seymour, I know prices on regular tickets keep going up. People are still paying for it. So how much further up can these special event tickets go? Where you have to get special access, and it's like $160, $170 now for 4 to 5 hours. At what point do you think fans will stop buying where it's like that's too much? Because already I saw for this year's Oogie Boogie Bash where people are like, I'm not doing it again. It's the same thing over and over, and the price is higher. I'm not going.
It's supply and demand. I mean, whenever they start to see the numbers go down is when they'll start to bring the prices down.
Yep, I was just about.
And it's crazy because I went to Oogie Boogie Bash for the first time a couple of years ago, and I paid my good old $169, and I was like, "Ouch!" But I'll do it because so many people said, "You gotta go, you gotta go." I'm like, "All right, let's go." I went to this sold out day, and I mean, it seems like there's nobody there. But I was like, "Okay, I guess they didn't sell a lot of tickets, but or they're limited." But I was like, "Boy." I don't have a little kid, so I was like, it was very hard for me to spend $170 with no kid, or not even like a friend or fiance or anyone who's like so into it. You have those people who are so into it. I'm like, okay, it would make it more fun. But it was just me and a friend, but the friend wasn't really like so into it. And I'm walking around getting my apples and my candy, and I try not to do the rides because I'm like, those are always there. So I'm like, let me do all the stuff that's exclusive to this thing. I looked and I walked out. I'm like, man, $170. That's 3 Horror Nights tickets. and I don't see the value, at least for me. So I stopped going. I was like, I can't do it. It wasn't even World of Color. I wish I don't care if World of Color Villainous was bad. At least replace it, keep it or replace it. I would love to see that version, but I couldn't do it again. I was like, I don't know how people pay for this thing, but I know they love it. So I'm going back to Horror Nights. Thank you very much.
Well, at least you vote with your wallet, which I respect that a whole lot. At least you vote with your wallet, which Seymour and I, we've been pounding on that drum for a while, huh, Seymour?
Yep. And I just wanted to say one thing though. If they didn't do these type of events, they would probably nickel and dime at other areas in the parks, and we don't want that. It'll be another Six Flags Cedar Fair, and we don't want that, right? Every little nickel and dime they take from you, even through parking, they will do that, and I don't want that type of experience.
And Webba, I'd say because you say Halloween so early. Well, Six Flags, they do Scream Break. They have Halloween in March. Okay. With their Scream Break event. Okay, so it's a Halloween Scream Break event. So yeah, talk about early. Like when they're done with their Fright Fest, March they'll have their college Scream Break. It's like a party type of Halloween haunted house. It's pretty interesting. It's like some of them. They have used 3 of them, and then there's like these party vibes, and it's funny. These characters come out with alcohol, like fake alcohol, but like party, woohoo! And it's kind of weird, but it's kind of funny. And there's like DJs, but it's still Halloween, so imagine that.
Right. Well, okay, so just to clarify, right? I'm not just bashing on Disney for this, right? Any park that has some weird theme like that, it's a no-go for me, bro. Okay, like, nah, dude. You give me SeaWorld, Six Flags, Cedar, whatever. Nah, dude, don't even go there. Don't even go there. But
in fact, I'm gonna take you one day. I'm gonna surprise you. I'm like, we're going to Disney or Universal, and then I'm gonna take you up to Scream Break and Six Flags, and I want to see you freak out.
well, here's if you want to see me freak out, you have to take me on the coaster because I hate heights. But but I want to ask you, because Seymour, your point, right, is they need these events or special festivities to prevent kind of like nickel and dime in the park, right? But here's the thing, though. Already, people are saying that Disney is already nickel and diming, and on top of that, Disney seems to be more busy than ever since when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I went all the time, and it was busy then. And when I was a kid, as far as I know, there wasn't always all these festivity or after dark events and stuff like that. And it was still always just busy as it was. So I'm curious as to if they stopped doing all these events, right? Besides Christmas and Halloween, right? Would they lose a lot of like guests like through like the first part of the year?
Yeah, I think they would. And I think they would lose the recurring guests coming in because they're going to get bored of it. They're going to see the same park over and over again. And it's like looking at porn. You don't keep looking at the same one over and over. You get bored and it doesn't do anything for you. So I feel the same way with the parks, especially if you're international, right? And you want your money's worth. If you're just going to a regular park, or okay, I can go during a festive, during Halloween or Christmas, or even the wine and food events and all that. You get your money's worth. You're spending a lot of money at Disney. And when you see these type of events, it actually gives you that little, Disney is actually providing a little extra.
So with the locals, right? I get that. But then we go into the problem of, like, for example, I said I haven't been since August because I feel like I have gone too much. So when you have locals, again, Disneyland is like more of the locals park or whatever. You have people going 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. They're seeing the same thing every single time, and then now they're being desensitized to the park because what it currently offers. So I think in a sense you have both the guests repeat like local, and then Disney, of course, not having these events, and then it kind of makes it stagnant for both parties, right?
I think too. I think a good approach to this is I think the events are kind of necessary, but I think that I would agree with you, Webba, that they could refresh a lot of these events, add new events, add new special things. I'm glad they're bringing 90s night back though. That was pretty dope. I was surprised they were doing that. I mean that's not really. I mean that's like an after hours thing, but that was kind of cool. I know the Italiano is pretty happy about that one.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential with a lot of these events, that's why I was disappointed with Pixar Fest, because it's like, come on, guys, have a little imagination here. We're gonna roll out 2018's Pixar Fest. Come on, we can do better. We can do better. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they could refresh a lot of these, and I think that would go a long way. So
yeah, for sure. And I think what it is too is that if you're someone such as myself who doesn't do character interactions, who doesn't try out the new foods or whatnot, these, like, let's say After Dark events are not for you, because most people go to these After Dark events to try the new food, see the new characters, and do photo ops for whatever thing they have, right? If you're not into any of that, there's no really point in going, because that's why most people go, is for those extra little things. For me, in my opinion, it's not worth it, so I don't go. Because Seymour, I've been to like 3 or 4 of these events. To me, it's not worth it, but it's worth it for a lot of other people. So again, I know in this discussion, I'm in the minority. I know people are gonna get pissed off at me. I mean, I get it, right? But
cancel Webba. That's what you just gotta cancel Webba. That's all you gotta do.
Michael Webba lives at blank, 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 blank. Cancel Drive. Go hunt him down.
Cancel Drive. There he is.
No, Wizard. I live in Avengers Campus, dude.
Oh, really? Avengers hallway.
I do want to say, though, that these events do fill in gaps when they're trying to make new attractions for the parks.
Correct. Correct. Well said, Seymour. That's exactly it, too. Yeah, because these attractions take, 3, 4, sometimes 9 years to build. Well, a little Tron joke,
almost.
Almost
9 years. And think about the Avengers E-ticket. That'll take from actual teasing to opening. It will be 11 years. So that's a long time.
That's a long time. But yeah, to your point, Seymour, though, you are absolutely correct. When you have these gaps, these off years, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect, because you can fill in those off years with some celebrations, kind of get that celebration money, and then you can come back and then the new thing opens, the new ride opens, and
See, and that's what Universal, they're doing that. Fast and Furious ride opens 2026. So what are they doing? The gap year, they got the 2 events. So works out well.
Yeah, well said, Mr. Webba. Any final thoughts before we close it out?
Yeah, one final thought, and I will always harp on this. Okay, minus the other events, Star Wars Night, Season of the Force. You need to rearrange Disney needs to rearrange that whole thing and make Galaxy's Edge better. I'm telling you, like, there is no point to that land if you have a Season of the Force and you have a Star Wars After Dark event. I'm sorry, there's no point to that freaking land, dude. Like, anything that's happening in those 2 events, you should be able to get in Galaxy's Edge. Or if not, at least have like Season of the Force or something be celebrated in Galaxy's Edge, Bot 2 in the Star Wars universe.
I agree. And as someone who has been diagnosed with OCD, that drives me nuts. To have the Star Wars not in the Star Wars land, it drives me nuts. Go ahead, Wizard.
So yeah, I completely agree. I'll say the one decent thing, hopefully, is that at least we'll have a new projection show in the land for this year's Season of the Force. So hopefully that turns out well. But
yeah.
I completely agree. The fact that fake Star Wars land, aka Tomorrowland, is somehow better than Galaxy's Edge is insane, because it's just Tomorrowland's an old land. Hyperspace Mountain, still my favorite version of the attraction. They have Star Tours. In fact, all those are better than Galaxy's Edge sometimes. It's kind of weird. So maybe they should add some sort of family. I've been harping on this, and I'll say it again every single video so they do it. Disneyland or California Adventure, one of the 2, they need another family highly themed roller coaster. It's been since 2023 years since Disneyland got its last roller coaster, California Scream. That's ridiculous.
I agree. And Florida's killing it. They got Mine Train, they got Slinky Dog, and over here we're starting.
It could be something as simple and small as Mine Train. I'll be happy. That's a nice themed one right there. Could be something as big as something. The fact that we have no roller coaster, no new one, is like mind-boggling.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Mr. Seymour Duck. Let's get some Sonic the Hedgehog coasters up in there, man.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Or they can do Duck Fest. Just all the Disney ducks.
There you go.
Yeah,
No, they do that in Japan.
Do they really? At Universal?
Duck?
Oh, they do. Yeah, they have that Donald Duck event. I see them on. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, they got to bring that here to the States.
Galaxy's Edge, a speeder bike coaster would be good. Come on.
Get on it, Disney. Get on it. But Mr. Webba, I want to thank you for the topic today. Very interesting conversation. Very, very cool stuff. Mr. Webba, where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Lord, thank you so much for having me on. And everybody, I apologize to you guys and to everybody else. Pretty much it was just me ranting about all this stuff. So I do apologize. But I appreciate all you guys for coming on. I appreciate everybody who's watching. You can find me, Mr. Webba, at Instagram, Threads, and Twitter at Webslinger760.
There he is, Mr. Wizard. Where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
You can find me at Park Wizard 1 on Twitter, Theme Park Wizard on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And I want to also say that remember when Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout opened in California Adventure, they had the Heroes and Villains Fest or something. So it was like Heroes and something, like a Heroes Festival to celebrate the opening. I'm surprised they didn't do something like that with the Avengers Campus. That should be a permanent installation. Have like a Heroes Festival, because that was a really cool one. Now they have a whole Marvel Land. Hopefully they bring something like that back permanently for Avengers Campus over like in the summertime or something.
Great idea. Hero Fest would be awesome. Absolutely awesome. Mr. Seymour Duck, where can they find you on social media, sir?
Yeah, you can find me on all social media platforms at Mr. Seymour Duck, and on Blue Sky at MrDuck.social. But I do want to say one thing though, with the seasonal stuff, that even the not parks, but even digital, right, for TV shows and for like say Disney Plus, they work really well. They create better engagement, and you can also, I'm thinking like, it ties in. So like The Simpsons and Family Guy. I know we didn't talk about it, but yeah, Simpsons and Family Guy on Disney Plus, they do a lot of like Treehouse of Horror or even Family Guy now did a Halloween special, and now Simpsons and Family Guy doing a Christmas special. It creates engagement and creates better for the platform. So not just the parks as well, but you're also seeing it on their streaming platforms as well.
Well said. Well said. And a Treehouse of Horror thing and DCA for Boogie Bash would be pretty awesome. I think that they need to do that. Maybe like in Hollywoodland or something. That'd be kind of fun. Simpsons would work in that kind of format. Go ahead, Wizard.
And I know when I mentioned the Heroes or Superhero Festival, Mr. Webba over here is probably going to cancel his pass if that ever comes to fruition. He'll be like, "Oh gosh, another festival! I'm out of here."
He's out of here. He's out of here.
Well, no, just because I just want to say, right, like I would just personally just love to see just like 1 month where the parks are just regular. That's it. Just 1 month. That's it. Then have all your festivals like after that. I just want like 1 month of just regular park.
How about 1 day?
1 day?
Yes.
Man, well, that dude, if that's the day, that's
November 2nd. Before the Christmas stuff starts and after the Halloween is done.
Oh, dude. I know.
Imagine the mad rush. The mad rush. just like Sonic.
Right?
Just like Sonic. But thank you, gentlemen, for joining, and thank you all so much for watching this episode of OG55. Comment down below with all your thoughts on overlays, anniversaries, events, festivals.
And now, get ready for a wonderful Asian lady to talk to you about memberships.
There she is. Here she goes.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.